So in this lesson, we're going to continue deep dive investigating ourselves. In the last section, we talked about questions we need to be prepared to answer. In this section, I'm going to ask you to step back and do something very, very hard, and that is ask questions you may not have already asked yourself about what it is you're looking for in life. So this will be hard. People do not typically like to be strategic in their thinking. You spend the majority of your day being tactical. And so to ask somebody to get strategic, it's hard to do. It's hard to shift to that change. So by the end of this lesson, you will have soul searched what is important to you. And this will be one of the harder lessons for you. I don't doubt that. So the first thing we want to ask is, what's the perfect role for you? What do you want to be when you grow up? It's probably been a long time since you've really asked yourself that question and given yourself an honest answer. But now that you've got work experience out there in the real world, you should be asking yourself, what is it that I want out of my career? Where do I want to be? What is the best role for me right now? What could I handle if it was a perfect world and I could select any role, any job, any place? What would that role be and why? So what and who do you want to be? This is, it sounds so simple to ask that question, but you'll find it to be very difficult for you to answer. But you need to answer it to understand where it is you're going in life and in your career. And more importantly, you have to answer why. If it doesn't fit with your values, and a lot of people don't question their values. A lot of times things get heated at family events because all of a sudden you think your values are being challenged, or you realize that your values are being challenged unbeknownst to you, and it flares up emotionally versus you already being very comfortable with what you know and what your value sets are. So you need to know, does the perfect role align with who you see yourself being? It's something you've got to wrestle with, or you won't be able to advance your career the way you want to be. What's the perfect manager look like? So real quick sidebar on self-determination theory. This is a theory that the greatest motivation that's out there by a manager is something called self-determination theory, where they give you autonomy, freedom to make decisions, freedom to control your calendar, autonomy to do the things you need to do to be great at your job. Competence, they show you that your competence is improving, because most of us, after certain early stages in a job or in a role or with something new, we make big gains, and then everything after that is incremental. And so sometimes, like, let's take Excel. The first time you use the product Excel, you were probably not very good at it, but very quickly, after a couple of courses or however you learned Excel, you got really good really fast. You went from being no good to being pretty okay. But then everything after that is incremental. You get a little bit better at Excel, and then all of a sudden you've expanded way wide on how good you are at Excel, and you had no idea that your competence level had improved that much. And that happens to us on everything that we do in life. We get incremental after that initial gain. And so the incremental is hard to notice, and a good manager will help you see that your competence levels are improving. And so, again, a motivator for self-determination theory. And then relatedness has to do with a team environment, in a large team environment. It's one thing if you win an award for you. That's great. You celebrate, your spouse, your partner, your family might celebrate. But if your team wins something big, then it's a bigger group celebration and it's more important. And then if the company wins something, and I'm talking about something really important, not just some random vote for popularity. I'm talking about wins a real award for doing something great. Those are the kinds of things that exceed expectations, and that relatedness comes together at that point because you guys were all in it together. And the bigger that group is, the bigger your manager will put a team around you, the better and more motivated you'll be for wanting to do the best you can in that role. And so Is that what you're looking for in a perfect manager? I'm giving you one theory called self-determination theory, but are these 3 items the things that would really matter to you from a manager? And what other qualities do you need in a perfect manager? What helps you thrive from somebody that's above you managing you? How much freedom or how little freedom do they give you that makes you better? Everybody's different and everybody reacts to these things differently. Maybe you like micromanagement. I've not met anybody that does, but there's probably somebody out there who loves micromanagement. Helps keep me on task. Great. That can be you. What are you looking for as a perfect man from a perfect manager? What does that perfect manager look like? You need to spell that out and understand it so that you understand who you're looking to work for. And the perfect company. Is this a feeling? It feels cool to work at this company. It feels great to work. I like what this company represents. This company's known to be whatever. There's nothing wrong with a feeling for a perfect company. Is there an industry you want to work in? That was a big deal for me personally. I wanted to be in telecommunications. Back when I was in IT, I wanted to be in the telecommunications industry very badly. I was able to get that. I had my why on why I wanted to work in that industry, and that why mattered to me. And when I was able to land there, I was there for 20 plus years. And then, is it a segment? There's some people that I love working in enterprise. I love working in Fortune 500 companies. I love working in small, medium business. I love smaller companies. What's the perfect company for you? Everybody has their preference. Yours might be by segment, it might be by industry, or it just might be by how that company makes you feel. You need to figure out and answer that question so that you know what you're looking for from a job opening that comes available. So in conclusion, after you've done this, you now know what you want. Don't settle. Now look, we all have to pay the bills and we all need something. If you've got a job today, use it, but be looking for the perfect place to work, whether it's the company, the position, or the manager that you want to work for, or a great combination of all 3 that you can say, I'm going to be there till the day I retire. What a great situation that might be for you, especially if it's got the upward mobility that you're looking for, if that's what you're looking for. Aim for happiness. And this is how it comes about. It's by knowing what you want and then going to get it. People, this day and age, typically go out and interview, and then they land somewhere, and then they don't like it, and then they interview, and then they land somewhere, and eventually they stumble into what they like versus targeting what's making them happy. I'm encouraging you, open your eyes, figure out what makes you happy, and target that for what you start interviewing for versus just stumbling through job after job after job, hoping you get a good manager, hoping you work for a good company, hoping you get a role you enjoy getting up and going to every day. Know that this will change over time. Whatever you want today will not be the same thing you want 5 or 10 years from now. So you have to revisit this more than just this one time. So make sure you remember to do that. So action item, the thing people hate to do the most, write it down. Find a piece of paper, find a notebook, write down what makes a perfect role for you, a perfect manager for you, and a perfect company for you. Write it down and come back to it. Know it will change. In 5 to 10 years, you will be amazed at how different these things that you want look. But find out what makes you happy based on these items, what's perfect for you, and then go out and try to find that.